This tiny little pump right here just cost this truck owner $10,000 in repairs. And the scary part is it didn't just fail, it sent metal throughout the whole entire fuel system. So instead of replacing it with another failure waiting to happen, we converted it over to this DCR pump. Because this is a repair that you only want to have to pay for once. So let's get to work. It's a nice day today, actually. I guess we're supposed to be starting to get some warmer weather, so you know what that means. Riding season's coming. Yeah, it's actually nice out. So another update. We put a down payment on getting the cover to come out on the shop. He's gonna bring it out about to here, 20 foot. So all this will be covered. We're gonna start with this middle section, and then I'm gonna have him do that add-on and this add-on for the new office. So he thinks he might be able to start all that this weekend. We're gonna see. He's trying to get the metal by tomorrow, so that will be a huge improvement. Not only will I be able to pull trucks in right here and work on them when the weather's like this, and if it was raining or something, also can park cars in here if it's storming. We don't have to scramble around and try to get vehicles out of the way in here. Or if I got like wood or sheetrock or anything for the house, it's doesn't need to get wet, I can just park it under here for a minute. You know, all kinds of advantages to that. Keep the buggies out of the weather. And then another thing we were talking about, because eventually this cedar tree is going to go. My next step is to add on another 20-foot lean-to here. And the reason is I want to be able to park Big Becky in here. I want to be able to just come in, leave, and then back right up in here. So that will be coming next after we get all this. I won't do a lean-to here. I don't know, we might continue it all the way across, make all this covered. We'll just see. Actually, I probably will, because then I can put stuff right here on this patio. So that's to come in the future. Oh, I forgot I had some gear oil here. I need that. So let's get started on this project. We're gonna finish doing the rear diff. I've already got it all flushed and cleaned out. I'm washing the cover now, but this one is getting a whole new fuel system. So I'm working on, I already did the transfer case, transmission, and front diff service. This one I was waiting on because I had to run the parts washer, but the tank, I'm about to drop it now. These are always a pain in the ass, but I gotta drop it, drain the fluid out. So I got this transfer pump here to suck the fluid out, or suck the diesel out, so that way I can get in there and clean the sidewalls and all that and get all the debris out of there. And then I'll probably start doing the top end. I'm gonna get this cover out and clean it up. It's in there to get all the wool off, and then we'll whiz wheel it, clean it up, get all the rust and crap off, and then we'll wash it again and put silicone on it. So one thing about these gaskets, I don't know if you can see it, but they like to rust the pan out. See, it's starting to rust it out in spots. Like, the truck's not very old. There you go. But it seems to be every time I have one with a gasket, it's always, I've had worse than that actually, but that's why I like to just use the silicone, because then it seals up all around in can't trap water. You see all that was rusted too. The front's usually not like that because it's silicone from the factory, because it doesn't, technically you don't have to pull the diff cover off on the front to service it because it doesn't get used as much. So the fluid isn't going to be nasty like this one. Because on Fords they unlock everything, but so on that one we should be able to take the transfer pump, suck the fluid out, and just put new fluid in. This one, I try to always pull the rear diffs off at least, just because they're usually nasty. But I'm gonna throw this back in the parts washer, and then we'll silicone it, put it all on. I got everything underneath done, as far as the diffs and all the regular maintenance, service, training, transfer case, all that. The tank I could not get dropped. The bolts, the nuts broke, and one of them's in the frame, so I'm gonna have to do it a different way, which sucks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start on doing injectors and then the pump. Just get a head start on that one while I'm waiting for parts for this one. So I feel like I can get some of this done today. So I've had a busy day and feel like I ain't got much done today. So if I can at least get some of this done, I feel more accomplished. We're doing a DCR conversion on this one. For those of you who don't know, these Fords are notorious for CP4 failure, which is the injection pump. Most people know that by now. It's been an ongoing thing since 2011, and they still haven't changed it. So this truck's a 2020 with like 100, let's see how many miles are on it. 130, and his failed. So we got this conversion kit. Comes with everything you need to do it. And then I bought the contamination kit. It's just an OEM contamination kit. Comes with all the lines. I bought the no pump kit, so let's see what comes. Should come with all the injectors, lines. That's kind of why the box is so big. Close the turn box. I normally buy the XDP kit, but they're out of stock all the time. So we opted for this one. They're the same. I mean, they both use Ford stuff. Come home now, box. Industrial Injection likes to put their logo on stuff, but obviously it's got all Ford gaskets in it. So, ooh, sticker and koozie. Mind if I do? Comes with new bolts, hardware, lines. I mean, you got to do it all. The bolts are torque yield, so that's another thing we're gonna have to watch out for. Is okay, that's just a shipping box. Is sometimes, very rare cases, these bolts like to break coming out. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. They make a tool to where you can extract those. I've got their EGR plate, like the EGR tool, so when you're removing this EGR, of course this one's deleted, but when you're removing this pipe, these bolts like to break. But see, on these newer ones, they upgraded them to a 10 mil bolt, and they used to be an 8 mil. So they were always breaking, so I bought the tool that goes in there from Pro Max, I think it was, or something like that. And it guides you, and it's got 2 guides, and you can drill them out. But I also found a trick on TikTok that's even easier than that, and that's just drill you 2 new holes next to it and move it over a little. And it's way easier to drill, so we did that last time and it worked. There's the rail, I'm sure. Let's see what else is over here. Just want to kind of get an idea. Set this up. Do a little unboxing. Oh, it did come with a cooler. I bought one separate because I thought it didn't come with one. Sweet. Save this box for core return. Small rail. No, there's steel lines in that one. Oh, even gave you a little additive. How about that? How about that? Return lines. Yeah. And filters. That's all we need. I'm gonna save those two boxes because that's fuel lines. I know we need this box. This box we do not. I go through a lot of boxes. As you can see, we got a lot of boxes that are going to be used there, a lot here, there. This is just from today's graveyard of boxes. We go through a lot of boxes. You'd think there'd be a better alternative for all this, but I guess not. So, all right, I need to get set up and get started, move my tools over. And one thing that sucks about not finishing a job is I gotta get all my tools rounded up and then come over here and back and forth, blah, 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 but it's just part of the game. We did have to put new batteries in this one. When he first brought it, batteries were shot, so that's a bonus. But I'm gonna start, and luckily it's deleted. That's a huge bonus, so I'm gonna start getting some of the stuff out of the way here. All right, so as you can see, that mass airflow is dirty. And I noticed there's some dirt in the intake here. Let's see what the filter looks like. Oh, nice. What to be expected. They're all like that. Okay. Now I gotta vacuum all that out. I just knew whenever I pulled it off though, and I saw dirt all in there, that's what we were gonna see, so. All right, just wanted to update. All right, so we've got the DCR conversion pump in installed. Not too bad. I don't know if you can see it, it's light, but that's all mounted in. Got the gear all done. So my thought was, let's pull this apart and see what kind of metal is in it. Some of them have a lot of metal, some of them don't. So we might as well have a little fun in the sun and pull it apart and have a peeksy show.
What the hell is even that? God.
have a little peeky. I mean, we obviously know there was metal in the fuel by the filter, but it's always fun to pull these apart. I've actually pulled one of these pumps completely apart before. Wasn't too bad. Oh, shit, oh, wrong side. I don't remember. Okay, yeah, it's 25. Oh yeah, she's done, bud. I don't know if you can see all that, but yep. This one's going on the wall of shame. I should have been collecting these because I would be able to have a whole wall. We'll just sit that one right there. Fun. So that's that. You can see it all in there. No warning, just went. He thought he was good. He was actually going to bring it in at some point to get the prevention kit put on. And as he was thinking about doing that, this happened. So it's obviously it's been going out for a while, but he was actually referred by another customer that I did his fuel system on. And his, we found by accident, his truck was running great, no issues, started fine. He came in just for a simple service. We were doing fuel filters and pulled the fuel filters out and they were full of metal. But his pump didn't have metal in it, if I remember right. I don't think his FCA had any metal in it. I think it was just the filters were starting to get sparkly. I'm not really sure how, but sometimes those pumps don't have any metal in them. So we did his whole fuel system. We didn't do a DCR conversion at the time. That was, I think, a little bit before they came out. We just did the regular system and then did a prevention on top of that. Actually, okay, we've got this DCR pump installed, torqued down, mounting brackets on. We've got it timed. Let's see if we can see. You want to make sure the timing is critical. You want to get it on. Well, I've already spun it, but and the nuts locked tighter. But there's one line on the cam gear there and 2 lines on the pump gear, and you want to line those up. We've already spun it. Well, I was tightening, torquing the nut down, but next thing we've got to do is get all this contaminated fuel system out of here. And we're gonna start with taking all these lines off on each side. And I've also got to remove this crankcase filter. That's one cause for the upper oil pan leaks. So we are going to start with this side because it's a little bit easier to get to. And I'm going to start pulling these lines off, and then I'm going to start pulling the harness back. We've also got to replace this return line here that kind of snakes through there. So once we get, I'm going to go ahead and get that stuff pulled off and we'll come back. See here, that piece there is flipped over. See, this is how the injector hold down is. It's flat. So if I've got all the lines off, I've got the rail off, so if you take this and you flip it over and stick it in there, then you can take a small hammer and tap it. Sometimes you can't get in there, sometimes you can't, but you tap it, it pops that injector right out. Voila.
Damn!
Just a nice little trick to help. I mean, in some cases you can't always get the little hammer in, but I just use this little baby ball peen hammer. Okay, we've got these 4 injectors on the passenger side. Definitely some nastiness on them. I mean, pretty thick layer of crap. So now what I'm gonna do is mark each one of these according to the cylinder, copy the QA codes. I'll just send myself a text saying cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, cylinder 4, and with each cylinder I'll take a picture of the top of the injector here to get that code, so that way I can keep it all organized as I go. And then these are reusable. The bolts you have to replace and torque these down to the torque spec. I don't know what that is, I'll have to look it up, but these bolts are torque to yield and they're not reusable. So for all of our injectors in, rails on, new lines, return line is ran to there. I've got to finish putting the front end here together. I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that this side is all torqued down. New injector bolts, new lines, new injectors, new rail, new return lines. The only thing we use is the harness for the electrical side of it. I had one bolt back there that was kind of iffy. I thought I was gonna break it, but it ended up going. Let's see, I'm guessing it was this rusty one. One of those two, but these are no good. So I do save them because you never know when you're gonna need some crazy looking bolt. So I got all kinds of bolts in here. Okay, so these 4 bolts here go to this vacuum pump. I've got it all lined up, but one thing I've learned is you want to Loctite these, because some of the oil leaks that I found in the past, whenever, like obviously the upper oil pan always leaks, but I've actually had some of these where the bolts had backed off on just this vacuum pump and caused a leak. So all we would have to do, that seal is reusable for the most part as long as it's not flat, but all I would do is pull these bolts out, Loctite them, and then torque them back, and it was good. But for some reason these would back out. I don't know if they still do on these newer trucks, but I do know on some of the older ones they would, like the 2011s to 2016s. They look like they're the same, if I remember right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and Loctite these. It doesn't hurt nothing, and we'll torque them down. All right, so I got the rest of those injectors out. I got all the rails off. We got new rails, so it doesn't matter. I've got all this taken apart, about to go back together. Got this return line routed. Crankcase filters off, obviously. I'll do that last. Got all this put back together in the front. What else? Oh yeah, I was trying to think of where all this went, but the EGR cooler went there. So that's all that mounts there. I just got some fuel lines to run across. Put this coolant pipe in. We're chugging along, we're almost there. I just wanted to show you guys these injectors had a lot of corrosion on them, which is just nastiness. One thing too is always make sure your copper washers come off. Very rarely will they stick on these, but I know it can happen. So always make sure that those come out with the injector. If not, you gotta pick them out and they're a bitch. Back on the older ones, these used to only be plastic, and I think now they're metal inside and then plastic, because I've broke these before trying to tighten the wrench and slipped, and it catches that and it's real brittle, but I think these are metal now, so that's a bonus. All right, I'm gonna get these new injectors in, and then okay, I got all these injectors in, lines on, return lines are on, plugged in. So now, which that wasn't hard at all, that's the easy part. buttoning all that up. I forget how this goes though. Okay. I forgot I gotta put the fan and stuff back on. I'm gonna do that real quick. Let's put this fan on before I forget. All right, so I ended up just getting everything knocked out. I got everything back together. Up here besides this, I gotta vacuum that out. I'm waiting on my filter. Well, actually I gotta go get it because it's the weekend, but got the coolant. All right, so now I'm gonna hook up to it and change all those QA codes that we talked about earlier. Pull up our codes of each one with the number. I just sent a picture and a number, so number 1. Just do a pre-scan. Those are all the codes that we had. Let's clear them all, which technically it'll still start right now without the QA code. Alright, now let's go to okay, injector 1. We need an F, 1E, C5, CA. Is that a 0 or a D? 40. Alright, but you guys get the point. I'm gonna program all these and I'll cut it on before we go to start. Alright, let's see if she'll fire up. Oh. Started a lot faster than I expected, honestly. No lights. Check the lead. We're already there. Still on a little bit of coolant. Actually started really well. Not bad. Alright, let's see what engine light's on. Oh, it's probably for mass airflow. So it's not plugged in yet. Dang. I really gotta get a new lens. And this one got scratched, so you can't really see anything on it. Okay. Yeah, that's what that is. Alright, we'll go get a filter and then we'll come back, clear those codes. Alright, just got back from a test drive, so let's see. Starts a lot better. And it'll get better and better over time. But we are at 130, so let's do 135 on the sticker. Alright, there's that. Okay, well, another one finished, so no leaks, chucked everything, tightened, made sure everything was tightened under the hood as much as I could. So I'm gonna send this one off, and I appreciate you guys watching.